Welcome back to Comic Shop Talk, everybody, on the Late Night Collectors community. I'm your host, Nico, and joined with me today, as always, is my co-host, Chris. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on?
So you got some hockey going on in the background there on your TV, Chris? I can see you got the game going. You
Got to
still,
get my Tampa Bay Lightning players to rack up some points there. I got a
I
lot of ground to catch up.
was about to say, you're still hoping for to make it to that finals to maybe pull
They
it.
got to be scoring like 10 points a game, those guys.
Still hoping to make it to the last round in our pool, eh? So good luck to you and to me as
Chip
well.
in a chair, a player, and a point.
That's right. I'm in the same position as you, my friend. All I have is Tampa left as well. So there you go. Little hockey talk for you guys there. But yeah, but no, welcome back as always. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if this is your first time. We mostly talk about comics here, but sometimes some other things come into the conversation, as you can tell. But yeah, we talk about our weekly comics here every week. Me and Chris get together. We talk about our thoughts and give reviews and ratings for like the comics that we read every week to week. Let you know what we're picking up next week. Talk about some comic news, all this kind of stuff. And this week we're actually going to be talking about the new comics that were released on the week of June 8th, 2022. So these are the comics that we read that came out this week that we'll be getting into. And as always, spoiler warning for all you guys out there. If you are worried about having these books spoiled for you, if you've yet to read your books, read them and then come back. You can always rewatch the episodes after they're out. We have a playlist up of all of our previous episodes. I also try to provide show notes on every episode for you guys. So if you look down on the YouTube description for the video, or where this video is posted, I always put the show notes. So if you kind of want to direct yourself around, what we're talking about at certain points of the episode, maybe, not listen to certain things if you're afraid of getting spoiled, because we do got to get into the details of these books. But we try our best with the big spoilers, of course, as always. So yeah, always try to make it a little easier there for you guys. But anyways, that all being said, without further ado, Chris,
All right, let's talk comics.
talk comics. The more we say that, I feel like we should have called the show that. Too late now. All right. All right. First up on the docket, we got Dark Crisis #1, big release from DC this week. 1 of 7 of this, I guess their summer event. Well, really their event that's going to make its way throughout the rest of the year. It looks like, I guess, given that it's 7 issues. And written by Joshua Williamson, art by Sampier. I forgot his first name. I'll have to check on that. Do want to give his credit to him. Daniel Sampier, I think, is his first name. So yeah, Daniel Sampier. Yeah. So yeah, Chris, I know you said you just kind of read this very quickly before we actually recorded here today. So I'll lead the way here in terms of the description of this. So me and Chris have been talking about this leading up to the episode here today. We even read The Road to Dark Crisis last week. We kind of was just loosely based on some smaller short stories about the characters, like where they're at prior to this, I guess, event taking place. And there was some pages in here that were actually in the free comic book day offering of Dark Crisis. Like this kind of spread in particular, I believe, was in the free comic book day preview of this book. So they actually, some of the good stuff I had already read about this Dark Crisis event from the free comic book day issue, which actually got me more interested in this event because the lead in through Justice League, as me and Chris said, we didn't find very good, was featured in this issue. Really great art throughout. Daniel Sampier, I'm not, I've seen his name on books before. I think I've seen his art here and there before, but the fact that, he's the main artist on this, I thought he did a really good job. It looked great for an event book. And this was basically them having a memorial for the Justice League, essentially, of them having been killed apparently at the start of this with all the heroes. You see Deathstroke in the background blowing out a candle even with them, I guess, with some of the villains that are maybe trying to show their respects or getting ready to wreak havoc on the city as a result of all this stuff the fact that the Justice League is gone. And mind you, it's just the main roster that was in the book prior to this event, essentially. Not even everybody, because Black Adam's in this and he escaped getting killed, and so did that other one, the girl Naomi. She that's her name, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I think so. She wasn't part of the getting that all the teams getting the team getting killed, and And the main people obviously is the Trinity, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And then also there's like Martian Manhunter and some other guys as well that were on the team roster that apparently have been killed. And now this is now moving forward. I think it's weeks later with the new Justice League consisting of I think it's Wally that's the Flash now, and then we got of course Jonathan, Superman's son, who's now the current Superman now that he was kind of went to Warworld off Earth, and then this other thing happened. So now he's leading as a Superman in the Justice League. We got Hal Jordan, actually, that was not part of the main roster of the Justice League, surprisingly, when they got killed. So he's part of this. And then we got the new Wonder Woman, who actually turns down the invite to the new Justice League, I guess. What's her name? Tara. What? No, what's Floor? Yara Floor?
Yara Floor, yeah.
Yeah, who's Wonder Girl, the Wonder Girl. I think that's Wonder Girl, the book that she's in, right?
Yeah.
Right. She's a newer character that kind of came about after their last event. Future State, she came into play. So this is kind of like, I mean, you guys, if you've heard this show enough, you know I'm a sucker for the getting the band together type issues. I do enjoy that. I actually really enjoyed this issue. I don't know about you, Chris, but I was just like, this is actually very solid. Like, I thought it was really well laid out. I thought it was a soft start. I thought Hal Jordan showing up and kind of asking all the right questions about what the hell is going on. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, I couldn't even be away for a while without like you guys fucking things up, kind of essentially. Like, you let all this stuff happen. Where's the rest of my teammates? He apparently is not aware that they've been killed. Black Adam, they go and like, because Black Adam was part of the team prior to this Dark Crisis thing happening. They go and question him, and he gives them the story, like by his accounts of everybody else getting killed and him being there and escaping that situation. And Hal Jordan's like, everyone else is like just taking him for his word. And Hal's like, are you guys fucking kidding me? I'm like, this guy, like, how many times have we fought this guy? Like, you're gonna believe this dude? Like, they're like, listen, Superman trusted him and everybody else trusted him, like Jonathan saying that. And like, I get all that, but I actually am with Hal on this. I'm like, yeah, like, I mean, you can't just take this bozo. And then they do like a classic, like, let's go question other people in the DC universe kind of Bendisi move. And I'm just like, this is awesome. Like, I like that moment where they cut to like Dr. Fade, and he's like, yeah, I can't sense them. And the Atom. And this just felt like, it did feel like very DC to me, like, and very like event kind of, and like a crisis event. I was like, it was a really great start. I'm actually very surprised because every lead-in example to like this series happening, I was feeling very down on it. I think Chris was like, we were both waffling back and forth. We're like, should we pick it up? Should we not? I'm glad I picked it up, Chris. I don't know. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot better than I thought it would.
Yeah.
With just what happens in the end there with the Teen Titans or Nightwing, I thought that was great. And like you say, just all the people kind of turning down or seeing who's going to say yes and no, and it sort of explained a bit what happened in the battle there. Like, I wasn't sure that this Dark Army got turned back, and it sounds like it did, but maybe not.
Yeah, what's the guy's name? Pariah or something?
Pariah, yeah. I guess he's got something up his sleeve still.
Yeah. So like, I thought he drew Wonder Girl great. Like, that, she was really drawn really awesome in this scene. I thought she, she looks like kind of beautiful and striking and like really like still like badass. And I really like her character. Like, I read some of her solo series. I love the art. I love the character and the Future State stuff. I didn't love the series. Like, I thought the writing wasn't that good, but I actually really enjoy this new Wonder Girl character. Like, so it was cool to see her. And it kind of, like, even though it didn't feel deserved, like I said, even previous to this coming out, like last week with that Road to Dark, like, once you've accepted the fact, okay, they're dead, or they think they're dead and something happened, and now they're doing their thing, like these younger heroes are these replacements for, And they even kind of, they're just asking a lot of the right questions and referencing a lot of things I think that I had doubts about in this issue. So I thought it was just handled very well. Like I maybe it's because I went in for low expectations, but I thought this was a really great first issue. I'm actually looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, same here. I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm glad I got the next one. I kind of pre-ordered the 1, 2, and 3, and I'll probably continue on.
Yeah, like this whole page was one of those classic, like they're trying to get new members for the team,
Yeah.
and around asking every, Tom, Dick, and Harry of the DC universe.
And even just like, everybody sort of responds. Some are like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And then with those Blue Beetles, they're like, "Oh yeah, man, we're in the Justice League."
Yeah, bros. Yeah, he got blue and gold, Blue Beetle and what's his name, Booster Gold. Yeah. So what's his name here? Peacemaker. Says, what does he say? America for a country before multiverse.
Yeah.
Country before multiverse. That made me laugh. Harley Quinn's like, really? Like, yeah, man, I dug it.
But then even when Black Adam was kind of just pointing them all out, this one's gonna kill you, this one's gonna stab you in the back.
Yeah.
Who are these people?
Yeah, the new Justice League. Yeah, man, I dug it. I thought it was a great first issue. I'm just very surprised. So it's hats off to Joshua Williamson making the most out of this event so far. I mean, now this is very early in the event. It always has a lot of opportunity within 6 issues to go off the rails, as these things tend to do. But yeah, I'm in right now. I'm very happy to have read this, and I'm glad.
Yeah, as my first Crisis event, I'm glad it's looking better than it was, because I thought this was just going to be a absolute pile.
I mean,
and
the lead-in,
it's looking better.
The lead-in was, though, Chris, Justice League lead-in was shit. That road to, I was just like, whatever, like last week.
Yeah.
And like this and the Free Comic Book Day and this, I thought were actually, like, it seems like once he actually sat down, he's like, all right, time to write the event. Like, it was great. Enough nonsense, right? It's just, I just felt that Justice League, because not only did he have to wrap up the series, it also had to be somewhat of a introduction to this event in one issue. You know what I mean? So I just feel like it wasn't a good setup in that sense. But this was good. This kind of had a little bit room to breathe and actually like tell you, like jump forward and be like, weeks later, like this is the team they've put together now. This is where they're at. Like, and then they're not even focusing on what's going on with the Justice League right now. Like, they're just like, okay, time to, get over this now. And I just like how some people are referencing the fact they're like, oh yeah, they're not dead, they'll be back in. And some of them are like, well, listen, I mean, until they are, we need to step up and do something, right? So
yeah, at least figure out what happened to them too, because as you're the other heroes, you have no idea what happened to them. They're just gone.
Yeah, absolutely. So what'd you give this, Chris?
I give it a 3.5 still. Nothing crazy, but a lot better than I thought I'd give it.
I gave it a 4. I give it a 4 for sure. Honestly, like, yeah, if I had higher expectations going into this and they were met, I may have even said 4.5, but I'm going to stick with the 4 just because it was a solid start. Like, it was just a base again. Like, there isn't much plot happening as of yet. I'll say that. Like, we don't really know much about what this event's going to be, but I do like the getting the band together team type business. So I was like, for that reason, I was like, this was a success so far. So all right. So next up, Thor 26. This, I guess, the penultimate chapter in this Banner of War. I guess the next issue maybe is the last one, or is there an Omega after the next one?
Well, I don't know if there's going to be who knows with the Omegas, but it seems like there's only one more, because they're saying it's like part 4 or 5 or something like that.
Yeah, I think this is the second last issue. So this is the last issue in Thor anyways. The next issue, Venom, comes into the series, but this was the issue where Thor now, as you can tell from the cover, is now a Hulk. So that's what happened at the end of the last issue that we didn't spoil. But at the end of the last issue now, Thor is basically turned into a Hulk-like creature. And what did you think of this, Chris?
I thought it was a pretty good issue. It was a good battle for them. You've always heard of these epic battles between Hulk and Thor, and I think this lives up to the battle. The only thing is, what happened to that the celestial armor of Iron Man? Like, did it get trashed?
Yeah,
because it looked like one scene, like I can see an arm getting ripped off, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Stark's sort of just running around in his, I guess, his spacesuit or something.
Well, at one point, I think he's controlling the suit.
Yeah, from outside.
And then Thor like just busts his arm, like he punches right through the armor.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It was interesting because like while this fighting was going on, you had like Tony Stark, not Tony Stark, Odin, the ghost soul of Odin, who's in the hammer, speaking to Bruce Banner, who's in the head controlling the Hulk. And it was almost like from the sidelines, essentially like a Dragon Ball Z moment or something. They're just like, all this shit's going on, and both these guys are literally like inside of Hulk's head, observing this huge battle go down. So I really enjoyed like their back and forth of like trying to decide like what's the next move here, right? And then it gets to a point where what does he do again for Hulk? Like he decides to I can't even recall now. He does something that's like a game changer in the fight, essentially, for the Hulk, right? Like oh yes. And then he destroys the Bifrost or Bifrost or whatever. Like he a road essentially that leads to like that she can actually see everybody, like that tree.
Yeah, they're trying to bring back Thor to try and get him back to his senses because he seems to be on a rampage right now and not really himself.
The Lady Sif, that's like the new like all-seeing like eye guy. I forgot his name. The guy who's in
the Idris Elba guy.
Yeah, Idris Elba's character. He's no longer that person. Sif is now Lady Sif. So he destroys the fucking road, and basically, which is the way that they're able to transport people to Asgard. He destroys it as Thor Hulk, which is pretty crazy. And so like that's interesting that he pulled that off. But yeah, no, by the end of the issue, I thought it was another satisfying chapter.
Yep, thought it was good.
Yeah. So what'd you give this one?
I'll give it a 4.
I also gave it a 4. Yeah.
You kind of get lost in the battle scenes. It's kind of too much going on. It wasn't very wordy comic, but I did like the stuff with Odin inside and, Bruce inside of the head. You don't know who's the good guy or the bad guy in this fight. I think they're doing a good job of kind of having them both battle, like where not one's a good guy. They're just fighting it out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also think the art was good in this issue. Actually, I thought, it looked good in this one. So, yeah, no, good issue. Looking forward to the conclusion. All right, next up. Speaking of Thor, we got Jane Foster and the Mighty Thor #1. Let's take a look at that.
Jane Foster, Mighty Thor.
Oh yeah, nice. Now, Chris, sell me on this one. I didn't pick it up, but I'm regretting it. I do want to read this.
Well, it's not too bad. I think somebody's putting together an army to fight Asgard, or to destroy Asgard, let's say. And there's a bit of a mystery in here. Thor seems to be gone, and the hammer shows up on kind of Jane Foster's doorstep. And then she picks up, of course, and Sif's in her head, because I guess Sif is the all-seeing.
Yeah.
And the hammer's all bloody. And so Jane Foster picks up the hammer, boom, turns into Thor. You get a nice spreadsheet or a nice page there seeing Jane Foster kind of all in Thor's armor. But then she sort of relinquishes the Thor power, but she'll keep the hammer. So she kind of reverts back to Valkyrie, which I thought was a bit of a bust because I was hoping to see her kind of running around as Thor.
That's what they
but
sold.
Odin's still in the hammer, though, so that's good. So, because you don't know when this is taking place.
Yeah.
And she thinks she's going crazy for a bit, too, once the hammer starts talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
And having that Odin in the hammer, it seems to be a pretty good trick. Because Odin's giving her shit too.
Yeah.
It's like when she kind of relinquishes the Thor power, it's like, what are you doing? I just give you the power of Thor. You got business to take care of. And and she kind of argues that back pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And it was a decent issue. It's a 1 of 5, I think, and we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, because
you don't really say what happens to Thor, and he's not around, even though he's on the cover there.
Yeah.
I think he's like stuck in some magical realm. And I think the Enchantress is in here, and she has her eyes on trying to take Thor.
Yeah,
and
Odin's a judgmental prick. That's
what. Yeah, he's great in that hammer. I love him in the hammer. I thought that was the craziest thing, in the the God of Hammers storyline, but it seems to be a nice little device in there. I guess everybody's got to have someone in their ear, And it's good that finally someone has one there where, they're not somebody just trying to tell them what's going on. They're giving them shit while they're doing stuff.
Holy fuck, I didn't even realize that. We made that point before about how everyone's got someone in their ear in the comics now. And we actually I didn't make the connection that this is his first
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, it's not someone, there's weak points over here. He's like, fucking hit him harder.
Yeah.
So I think it's decent. I'm down for this one. I mean, looking forward to the rest. I'll give that a 3.5. Nothing crazy going on. But, there's that one splash, whatever, a nice big page, like I say, with Jane Foster kind of all in the Thor armor. And then, the next page, she's already given it up to try and just be Valkyrie with the hammer. Thought that was a bit of a letdown, but I think it's just leading into her when she gets it. It's like, oh, it'll be awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read this online then because I it sounds good, and I like that it's actually in current continuity. Like it has that Odin aspect to it. And
yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if this is like before this Banner of War or after, or
right.
Who knows?
All right. Okay. So next up we got Flashpoint Beyond number 2. I'm still liking this series. I think it's a weird thing to be going on. Because it's got big names on it. Jeff Johns. It is a I guess a sequel of sorts to Flashpoint, which was a big event, but it's going on concurrently with Dark Crisis. So I think it's weird. It's weird to figure out where its place is and its importance currently within the DC main universe at this point. But the thing is with the Flashpoint Beyond is that most of it is taking place in the Flashpoint universe, where whatever Earth it is that the Thomas Wayne is Batman. I forgot the actual Earth, but so it really doesn't have much to do with the main. There's a couple of pages dedicated to each issue so far of you seeing Batman in the main DC universe right now, what he's doing, kind of I guess currently, that may connect to this whole event. But it is interesting. It's doing some interesting things. It's just a weird book. I don't know where it fits into everything, but that's what makes it kind of interesting to me. So they're you got this one of those crazy boards, connecting boards, how everything's connected at the start. And there's a bunch of notes and pictures and things like that almost are serving as clues or things that he's already investigated, or things from the actual DC universe or his universe. So that I like when they do this kind of stuff in comics, little Easter egg type stuff that's going on, where you can kind of spend a lot of time observing this kind of stuff, or you can kind of just do your thing and read it. But if you actually take the time to look at the things on the wall and kind of get an idea, I think I like when they do kind of stuff like that. You can kind of read into things a little bit more and maybe, be it's interesting to think of what could be or what to look forward to in an event when things like that are going on. So yeah, basically this is continuing with Thomas Wayne trying to fix his timeline essentially, because he feels that he's messed things up. As you remember, we read that other issue where he killed Flash before he became Flash, even though he was trying to use him to maybe set things right in this Flashpoint universe, and he screwed that up. Now Psycho Pirate, which I guess Psycho Pirate, this version of him is from the actual DC universe, or if not, he's a version of Psycho Pirate. This Psycho Pirate, apparently they mention in this book that he has the ability to remember all reboots in the DC universe. He knows everything. He has for whatever reason, the way his brain works is that he remembers all the crises, no matter what has happened, no matter what has changed. This guy knows it all. He remembers it all. So he goes to see him in I guess Arkham or wherever he's holed up, or if it's Blackgate, I'm not sure. I think it's Arkham. And he breaks in because he's not allowed to go in there. Thomas Wayne, like I said, is a very he plays a little bit dirtier than Bruce would. So he goes in there, and then there's like a bunch of shit that he's written on the wall. Again, clues about stuff from all the things that he knows and that he's seen from his universe. So like Thomas goes in there and he starts reading all this shit off the wall. And he's like, oh, that's interesting. And he's like, that I knew. And he's like reading all these little things. So it says like Bruce Wayne is Batman. He's like, knew that one. And like, you know, he says, what does he say here? He mentions Judy Garrick, like, you know, I guess he's like, I don't know who that is, but it's, I guess, related to the Flash, you know, about Jay Garrick. Judy Garrick, he talks about, he mentions this is interesting. Pariah is like all the others. So they're actually referencing Dark Crisis in this, because this character has maybe experienced or has seen already Dark Crisis, and he knows this stuff or knows something about Pariah. And here he is in the Flashpoint universe writing this shit on the wall for Thomas Wayne to discover. So it says little things like that. Like, I like the effort that he's trying to make, trying to connect everything like that's going on in the DC universe, even though this feels like its own thing, right? And yeah, and he goes and visits, I guess, Two-Face's mother's like Two-Face in this universe, or like she's locked up for something, and he goes and interrogates her, and she gets driven crazy by his interrogation and ends up like smashing her face like off of the glass of the actual like cell. And then he goes and interrogates somebody else and pulls out a gun on them. Like, it's like you know, this guy, he's crazier than Batman, because it's kind of Batman with no unhinged Thomas Wayne. Like, he just does not give a fuck. Like, he doesn't follow the rules that Bruce has led his life by not wanting to kill people and trying to avenge people and do everything else. He's just fed up. He wants the things to be set right. He wants his timeline fixed. He wants to have Bruce back. Like, he doesn't want to be living like in this world that he lives now. That I think that he's seen other realities through the DC universe. Like, he wants to get back with his son, right? So, and then by the end of it, it looks like Red Sun Superman might have showed up. I believe that's what this version of Superman is. It is a version of Superman. I'm guessing this might be the Red Sun Superman. I don't know if you've read that, Chris, but it's basically the Russian Superman.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't read it, but
yeah, I believe that's who this is, although I don't remember his costume being like this. So maybe it's a different Superman. Anyways, it looks like a bad Superman showed up by the end of this issue. That was kind of like one of the things they went out on. So I gave this a 3.5. I think nothing crazy like you said about this issue, but it was an enjoyable issue, and I'm looking forward to more. My favorite bit was the whole Psycho Pirate stuff, though. I thought it was very interesting.
the only thing that's getting me with DC is all their stuff seems to be happening in like alternate universes, like their best stuff.
Yeah,
Because the Flashpoint world, the Dark Knights of Steel, and then what's that? The Batman Beyond. Those are all sort of just all else worlds. Like, what's happening in their own universe? Like, other than, well, Dark Crisis, I guess. But
right. I mean, Flashpoint Beyond, while it's happening mostly in that universe, like, it is in continuity in the sense they are referencing things that are happening in the main DC universe, and there is a few pages every issue that's been dedicated to showing Batman. Like, there's going to be a connection between him and Dr. Manhattan's watch soon, like, where I think that's going to be the way that everything gets reset or gets fixed or whatever. I think is that he's going to have to get the aid of Dr. Manhattan, which again for some is troublesome because the fact that now Watchmen is part of the DC universe somehow.
Well, that's it. How can the Watchmen be in there, and where have they been all this time if they are there? You know what I mean? Like,
well, the only thing about that is that Jeff Johns, the series he wrote before this one, is he wrote one called Doomsday Clock, which was the DC universe with Watchmen essentially. So like that's kind of led into this a little bit, right? So I'm here for it. I'm still going to continue reading it, but once you try to make sense of it all, it's not that, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of falls apart a little bit, some of this shit.
No, I'm liking all these alternate universes. I just want to see more of what's going on in the freaking actual universe, you know?
Yeah, no, I get that. I guess Dark Crisis is where that you're gonna have to look to for that until it gets reset by the end of Dark Crisis. Everything's
with the themes.
Probably.
We're talking about Dark Crisis. One scene I got to mention is that one with Deathstroke and Beast Boy.
Oh,
something happened there. That was big. I think it's big, at least.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. So yeah, no, for sure. I'm looking forward to more of that. All right, Batman 124. We made a mistake. We mentioned that we thought this was the Chip Zdarsky issue, I think, last episode, but it's not. This is not the new relaunch with Chip Zdarsky that we were looking forward to. This is this is Joshua Williamson's last issue. And this, again, just serves the whole purpose of this issue, because he's pretty much wrapped up his whole crossover with Deathstroke and Robin. And now this is his last issue on the book. All this, the only purpose this served was basically to set up, again, more series. Again, there's a bit of a setup for Batman Inc. in this issue. And and there is a backup story that sets up the Poison Ivy series, which Chris is actually going to be talking about.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get this. I wasn't able to get my hands on this copy, but it was one of the things I was looking forward to.
That's the backup story in this issue, is it kind of sets up the Poison Ivy series that had just come out this week as well. And he also does like his final comment, I think, on this, not Blackout. What the hell is this person's name? The one that, Abyss. So Abyss shows back up again, the person that he had set up, or someone posing as Abyss. And yeah, it was like, whatever, that was fine, I guess. But I really like the art on this issue, though. Howard Porter drew this, who actually drew, I think, some of the Deathstroke crossover. Like, I think he was the artist, I think, on Deathstroke Inc. previously. So seeing him on this, I really dug that he drew this issue. I'm a big fan of Howard Porter. His art looks like no one else. Like, it's very weird and angular and weird looking, and I really dig it. So I was happy about that. But the story, this is a skippable issue. If you guys didn't pick this up and you have no interest in it, I wouldn't. It's not essential. I don't think it's really just it's just, like I said, setting up 2 other new series. And it's kind of like his final kind of say on his time on the book and this Abyss character and whatever else. But look forward to the next issue. That'll be a good one. And that's going to be issue 125. And that's going to be the new Chip Zdarsky start. So yeah, that's but this issue, for what it was fine. I'll give it a 3.5 for the art as well. I'm going to give it the extra bump. Otherwise, it was just like a 3 on story, but I'll give it a 3.5. All right, next up, Savage Avengers #2.
We had a variant cover for that with the.
Well, I'm glad you got that cover. Nice cover. Yeah, Cloak
and Dagger. I think it's a Jenny Frison or something.
Yeah. She's a great cover artist. All right, so Savage Avengers 2. What did you think of this, Chris?
I didn't mind it. I thought it was okay. I was looking through it there. It's a bit of a wordy comic again here. There's a lot of. I'm not liking all these narration that's not kind of matching around with the bubble or with what's going on in the story. But I thought it was decent. Kind of catching up where everybody landed, sort of when they got to the Savage World or wherever they are in Conan's time. I don't know. What did you think?
I didn't like this at all.
You didn't like it at all?
No, the main reason being what you just pointed out is the fact that, I don't know, this writer is trying to, it's overwritten. I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to do like a Robert E. Howard Conan type thing, which, like, okay, like, but the thing that I liked about Savage Avengers, the previous installment written by Jerry Duggan, is that was a Avengers book featuring Conan. The way they're writing this so far, it feels like they're trying to be a Conan book featuring these other characters, which I think they have it wrong. The reason the other book was fun is because Conan just randomly showed up in that book, and you're just like, because like realistically, it is weird because he just got the license at that point that Conan was in a book featuring other Avengers type characters. So, and I think he really leaned into that, and the book was fun and funny, and that's why that book was successful for me. Like, I really dug it. I don't know if you got around to reading any of it yet, Chris.
No, not yet. It's next on the list.
But this version is not like that at all. This is serious. This is like I said, like trying to be a Conan book. Now, I think that, I don't know if this writer is just chomping at the bit, like knowing that maybe they're going to lose the license. He's like, oh, I got to write my best Conan. And he's just like putting all of it, like his, like Robert E. Howard, like Conan, like, I'm trying to do that type of book into this thing, but I just didn't, I don't love that. I think that I don't know what they're doing. Like, I get it. I get they're now stuck in this time running away from what's his name? Deadshot, not
Yeah.
Deadshot, sorry. But like other than that, like I really don't have any interest in anything that's going on here. Like I think I have the one more issue pre-ordered, and I think that's gonna be it for me on this one. I really dislike this issue. I thought actually this was worse than the first one, because in the first one, at least, again, they were building it up, they were getting everybody together, we were trying to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
This was just like, okay, here we are, and it just didn't offer me anything like that I was looking forward to in like a Savage Avengers series. It's just the tone's totally different than the first one. Maybe that's on me. Like maybe, like you said, maybe you didn't read the last one, and you're like,
yeah, I don't know how good the last one was, and maybe comparison this kind of bites. I'm kind of liking seeing Cloak and Dagger out there. I haven't seen those characters in ages. Get to see a bit of this. This Hulk thing. I think something happens to him, that Hulk Marine, or with our Weapon H.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Death Mocks are always interesting. And, I'm not too big on the anti-Venom there. I didn't.
No.
But, I'll probably keep on reading a few more episodes or a few more issues and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Is this an ongoing or is this a limited number?
This is an ongoing for now. Yeah. They haven't even announced it to be a limited number. So,
yeah.
I mean, like, if you continue with it, maybe I'll read it online or something like that. If it sounds interesting enough to continue with by that point, because I am interested to see what they do with Conan. But other than that, I really like, unless the Conan arc wraps up and then he stops with this like narration of like the, you know what I mean? Like
that's one thing that kind of got me in this one. It was just too much.
Because we're in issue 2 and we're bogged down by this much exposition already.
Yeah.
And I just want to see these characters interact with one another. And
and like they don't really say anything and all those things. Oh, the blood of my sword and blah blah blah.
Right.
It's just like extra words for no reason.
I also don't know, and I think this is not his fault. I think this is the current status quo of the character. But where the fuck is the Black Knight's sword? He's got like a
I guess like a King Arthur type sword, I imagine.
Usually he does, but right now he's got like some sort of like another type of weapon or something like that, doesn't he? Like he had some sort of like other weapon I seen him flying around with, and fighting. He has like I forgot what the hell it's called, but it's not a sword though. This is the other guy's sword that's attacking them right now. I don't know what happened to his weapon. I don't know if that's like a result of some series that came before this that I didn't read. Like, because I like the Black Knight. I think this is like a harpy. Like, I think that's isn't that like the old Red She-Hulk, like his girlfriend, Betty Ross? Doesn't she turn into something like this? I think in the Hulk, I believe she turned into some sort of creature like this. I think that's why, but he's like, I don't know. I went to access my Hulk powers and I just turned into this.
Yeah, like I don't know what all that means. Where he's got his gamma core was offline or something. I don't even know what he's talking about with that. But I don't know much about what it was he Weapon H or something. I didn't read any of that stuff. So
corny fucking Flash Thompson's like trying to hit. Oh, I mean, of course, listen, he's trying to shoot a shot. I get it. She's a good woman. Like, I get it. I mean, I get that. But like the way his approach to like hitting on her in this was like stupid. I was like, get out of here, man. Anyways, what'd you give this then, Chris?
All right, so I'll give it a 3.5. It was nothing special, but it kept my attention. And I can't get over Flash Thompson being a hero, though, too. He was just like a Spider-Man freaking character. He didn't need to be brought into the fold.
He actually had a great run as this Agent Venom that Rick Remender wrote. This is like 2010 or something like that. But that was it was actually a very good run. I would recommend that to anybody who actually prior to him becoming anti-Venom, when he was Venom, he was like an agent. He was like he worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. essentially, like undercover. That was awesome. That was a good period of Venom, actually. I really liked that. And the interesting thing about it was that because he didn't have his legs, when in the Venom suit he could walk, right? So like it was one of these things where like he lost his legs, and then he I think he was in the army or something, or I forgot.
Yeah, I think they referenced something like he was in like a war or something. They got blew off or something.
He was a Navy SEAL or something like that. And then when he was done and he lost his legs, they came to him to wear the suit to run missions for them. And he got basically addicted to wearing the suit because, like an Iron Man thing, like because he could walk when he was in the suit. Like the Venom thing made him like have legs essentially, right? So like that's all very interesting. Like I really like that. And they talked about like his abusive father in it. It was a good series. So yeah. But Anti-Venom, not as much. I gotta give this a 2.5. I'm sorry, Chris. Like for me, I gotta do what I gotta do, man. That's that. For me, it didn't work, that one, but all right, Dark Knights of Steel number 7. What did you think of this one, Chris?
I thought it was great. Like I only got to read it online because my like that beginning sequence, I thought I missed something, and I kind of fell hook, line, and sinker into that, and it was like a dream. Like, what? Because it's been a while. It seems like it's been a while since 6 came out. I kind of forgot what happened. I'm going, I got to read back to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And then it even still got better from there too. I thought it was a great issue.
Yeah, I agree. Great issue. So much happening, so many balls up in the air in this story right now. Still introducing new characters along the way. I think they kind of went more into like the Teen Titans characters in this one. I really dug, of course, I really like the Ra's al Ghul Etrigan. I think that's awesome because he's known as the Demon. I think that's a really really like obvious choice, but interesting choice. I don't think we've ever seen done before. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I thought that was really cool. Like, I don't think even in any of the Elseworld stuff, I've ever seen somebody make that connection of him being called the Demon and also the Etrigan the Demon thing. I don't know if that's ever been done. And I think it's just one of those things that's so obvious that someone should have done. I'm like, oh, that's very cool, actually. So, yeah, another great solid issue. Great art. Yeah, I wish that they had an alternate miniseries going on in this world, or that there's going to be more, though, because this is 7 of 12.
Yeah.
There can definitely be more in this world. I
think each episode each issue could spin off into its own miniseries because they almost seem to introduce one group of characters in each issue.
Yeah.
And I imagine at some point they're all going to come together, but
my favorite part about this was showing basically the Kents, how they're like, hey, listen, like, because Batman, of course, like they found him in this and brought him back to their house, and they're kind of like they're like, listen, we're not like some old folks, like we used to be in your army, like we represent part of your parents army and everything else, or like, you know what I mean? So they come out, and he comes out with them when the house is getting attacked, right? And I thought that was really cool, like that they kind of were ready to throw down, and they got their armor and their weapons and shit like that. I was like, oh, that's really neat, actually. And they were like lovable and very nice folk, like the Kents, like from the actual Superman comics. So like I thought he gets these characters and he's able to mold them into these new like reimaginings so well. Like he gets the core of like who these characters are, Tom Taylor, and he's able to do stuff like this. I think it's great. So yeah, another great issue. Absolutely.
But then, and like, it was quite the face turn for, I guess, Bruce Wayne or whatever they call him here, because he was almost like a hated man because he's been hunting down all these people with superpowers, imprisoning them and torturing them. And, and then the Teen Titans come in, or whatever they're called there.
Yeah.
And, they kind of almost forgive him instantaneously. I know they give him a bit of grief, but, this is some guy that's been hunting down, your friends and your family and stuff like that. And, they kind of give him a pass pretty quickly. But I imagine that's just more for story, so I can kind of let it go or let it slide, let's say.
Exactly. No, you're not wrong. But I think, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I think it's just one of those things where they had to have that scene of them giving him a little shit. And they're like, oh, yeah. Have to still.
But that's it. Now we're together. Now we're friends. We're fighting.
Yeah, exactly. So I dug that. Great issue. Another great issue. What'd you give this one?
No, I'll give it a 4.
I also gave it a 4. Yeah, good one. All right, Chris. Poison Ivy number 1. Let's see the cover.
Poison Ivy number 1. So I got this on order, but
yeah, right.
My new store is a little bit slow on the draw. Right. I can just talk about it for a bit. I guess you might have read a bit of it from that the Batman 124 backstory. But the art in this issue was great. It's just basically Poison Ivy. She's trying to start up a new mass level extinction event, and she's kind of just going about doing her thing, sending out some, I don't know, whatever those magic mushroom spores that are killing people. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of basically starting up the story and kind of letting everybody know what's going on. I thought it was a great issue. I give it a 3.5 just because nothing's really happening in there yet. It's just kind of everybody getting their feet on the ground.
Art? How was the art in this one?
Yeah, the art is it's spectacular in there. Like it's not overdrawn, but it's drawn well.
Mm-hmm. Are they drawing her to look sexy in this at all though, or is it?
No, that's what I mean. Like she's not. It's not like she's prancing around, with her, flowers there. She's just kind of in a jumpsuit. I think that she stops out for a drink in a bar, and she's kind of, I work as a landscaper, because basically just in kind of, a tank top and with some, like army pants or something like that.
Yeah, because I think, like, at least from the impression that I got from the preview too, is like they're like I mean, she's always had the potential to be like, they are referencing how fucking super powerful she is right now. Like she's like super powerful now. Like I think that they're trying to make that point with this series, and not only
they sort of explain why she's upset too, because I guess it goes back to the future, not the fear state.
Yeah.
And, she was saying, because she was super powerful in Fear State, and she goes, I spared the city of Gotham, and, how did they repay me? They took away all my power. And, she's still super powerful, but I guess she was like had godlike powers.
I mean, she had a whole city. Remember,
like,
she had their whole, like, actual, like, she ran, like, a whole part of Gotham, essentially. Like,
yeah.
So, yeah. But at least they're, like, paying homage to that. You know what I mean? They're actually, like, it seems like, I mean, I didn't read this, but I think the lead-in story that I got the idea they're trying to let you know, and maybe that's why they're not selling her as, like, you know what I mean? Like she's not skimping around and nothing in this series. They're trying to sell you on the fact like this is like she is a powerful person.
Yeah, like she's serious in this. She wants to try and end humanity, just because humans or civilization is the cancer. She's like,
yeah,
I think it's a well-written story. And it's not like a superhero-y type of story. It's just, I thought it was great. And I'm looking forward to the rest of this.
Awesome. All right, nice. All right, yeah, all right. So 3.5. All right, next up we got Aquaman Andromeda. Now this is an Aquaman 3-issue series out of DC Black Label. The issue is oversized, like magazine size. I am a big fan of DC Black Label. It's written by Ram V, who's also going to be the new writer on Detective Comics, which I'm looking forward to. This guy's been kind of, working up a name for himself over the last couple of years. Now, he's getting some higher profile gigs, I would say, between, Marvel and DC. And Christian Ward on art, who I'm a fan of. This was okay. I'm not a huge Aquaman fan, just based off the creative team and what made it sound like an interesting horror story for Aquaman, which I thought was an interesting, different take on Aquaman. And the fact that it was coming out of DC Black Label, which isn't necessarily in continuity and also like mature. I was like, I'll give this a whirl. It was good. It was well written. You can tell it was well written. Like Ram V is a good writer. He was well written. I just don't know how much interest I have in this. And I think that they're building in this issue, they were mostly building the suspense for possibly some horror aspects that come down the road. I didn't find that there was anything too crazy in this issue that made me want to stick around. So I might read the rest of this online because it's only 3 issues, but I do got to say, like, I think it's mainly me who wasn't hooked or has the interest really to kind of continue with it in issues, maybe outright or even read the rest, because I could say it was well written. I'm just not a huge Aquaman guy, and I felt maybe this would hook me, but it didn't. But I don't think it was bad. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I think it was well done. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5. It just wasn't. It didn't hook me. So, there's probably still enough there possibly to have me interested enough to check out the next issue. But I'll probably read it online if I do. So yeah, I know that's a confusing review maybe for some. Yeah, right, Chris. It's one of those things where I'm recognizing that it was well done, but I just didn't find it all that interesting for me, right? So anyway, so I gave it a 3.5 though. There's definitely suspense building. It definitely feels like it's like I don't know, what is it? The 40,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Like one of those, like it's some interesting underwater kind of exploration, kind of adventure type story with like some horrific, like some suspense and maybe some horror aspects to it that are coming down the line. Like it feels like Alien, but in the water, essentially. You know what I mean? Like so whether or not like what's gonna go down, is yet to be seen, I think, in this first issue. And if maybe the writer was showing a little bit of restraint because it's only a 3-issue series in that sense. But for me, as somebody who doesn't really have that much of an interest in Aquaman and is like, okay, I'll give this a try, wasn't enough to hook me. So yeah, 3.5 on that one.
Yeah,
So.
I think something like that'd be better served if it was just part of the Aquaman series. You know, if they had to take a break from a storyline, and at least you get all the Aquaman fans to read it. Yeah. You know, when you're kind of not trying to. Usually, when it's like a mini series, you want to try and suck in as many people as you can. Usually, it's a big story that started off, and
yeah,
you know, slow burn on a 3-issue series. It's a tough sell.
Exactly. And for somebody, like I said, like myself, who's not really like, I don't read that much Aquaman, never really have. Like I've read some, but not enough to be like I need like an interesting take on this character to kind of hook me. And so I didn't find that in this first issue. It was really very much of a slow build. So, but yeah, like I said, like I can still sit there and read it and be like, yeah, this is well written. This is well done. Art was good. I'm not that interested. Right. So anyway. All right. Batman Killing Time #4. This on the other hand was just another spectacular issue. The art was outstanding. Again, I don't know. I love the way Tom King is writing this book. There's something about the dialogue that he does in this book and the way he approaches the story that I just think is different and unique and great compared to even the other work that he's done, which is also great, a lot of it. But it's something about the way that he writes this title, and I've said this every issue I think that I've talked about on here, is really well done. The dialogue is just top notch, and the way he approaches the scenes and lays everything out, and the art. It's the full package. Anyways, I gave this issue a 4. I thought it was another great issue. When it's all we are continuing with that new character, The Help. By the end of this issue, I guess the big thing that happened in this one is the fact that him and Batman are now forced to team up because they have to actually track down the rest of these guys, the Penguin and well, the Penguin kind of was out of commission. He got put out of commission by the Riddler and Catwoman, who are trying to take a bigger piece of the pie of this thing that they stole, which we still don't know what it is, but it's like a very ancient artifact that's powerful and everybody wants it for whatever reason. But he was taken out and he was on his hospital bed, but then there was a whole scene where, he ends up ripping all the tubes out of his throat and being like, and he's kind of enraged now. He's like, all right, I'm going to go track these guys down. So he's kind of back in action now as of this issue. But yeah, there's just a lot of different moving pieces and players in place and interesting story being told. And I'm looking forward to this. When it's all said and done, this 6-issue miniseries, I might double dip and pick up the hardcover when it gets solicited, because this was really well done. And I think if you're a Batman fan, even if you didn't like Tom King's Batman, check this out, because this is different than his Batman. It's very different tone and writing style and everything. So I give this a 4. Yeah, another great issue. And last but not least, well, possibly least, we'll see what Chris thinks about this one.
Oh, you didn't like it?
No, I did. So I
liked it too. I thought it was great.
Let's hear what you have to say about it. I said, I'm like, possibly least if you didn't like it. But yeah, Amazing Spider-Man #3. So yeah, you liked it, Chris?
I think these 2 pages though, here with whoever they are, whoever that guy is that's seeing MJ, they should have been in the last issue, and at least would have made that cover of Spider-Man, whatever, the second issue makes sense.
Yes.
But other than that, I'm happy if it's in there. And, although it frustrates me, this kind of slow burn that what's going on in the story, but at least they're giving you some little hints there. And they always just make you ask more questions, it's like, and it's just one line. It's like, when he's on the phone with MJ and just kind of, at the end when he's saying goodbye, it's like, love you too. It's like, whoa, might be, it just kind of makes you wonder what's going on, and all this stuff here with the Tombstone kind of history. And I just don't know if I buy Spider-Man being beat up like that, because I don't know, maybe he's still weak from the radiation or something. I don't know, but.
So I have 2 questions for you. One, the thing that they're referencing in this scene that this guy is bill collecting for, is it for the time they spent in the hospital from the Beyond?
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. because obviously there is time in between that lapse that we don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why these bills are due now, because it wasn't addressed till now, and this is why they're bringing it up. Because during the Beyond area, it wasn't laid up in the hospital, so I'm like, maybe this guy is coming around as a bill collector, or at least he's posing as one. Maybe that's his deal. This guy Venmos him money, and this guy seems to be like the dude that's now with MJ. At least that's what we're to believe in this one. But he does have some sort of like care for Peter here, because he says like, I don't like.
You don't know who this guy is, and like, you know, even if they threw a name on him or something, or if they have or not, I don't know. But I don't know. It's just it's interesting, at least, you know, it kind of keeps you wondering.
Yeah. So yeah, no, for sure. They're stringing us along because at first I'm like, who is this? Tony Stark? Like, I didn't know. And then like, I'm like, I'm like, that can't be Tony Stark. Right.
Yeah.
And then like, but it's interesting because I did like the line that he said though, because he's like, hey, what's your, this guy's like, why are you paying me off type of thing. He's like, yeah, listen, just give him a month. How much? Like, he's like, yeah, 1,200 or whatever. And he's like, okay, here you go. And he's just like, what's your interest in this whole situation anyways? Why are you looking out for this guy? And he's like, I don't know. I just don't believe in kicking the man when he's down. I was like, that's actually very good. I thought that was a very good piece of dialogue from him. I'm like,
but it just makes you ask more questions, because he seems to know Peter Parker then too. It's not like he's just, some rando that MJ just started dating.
Right.
So there's got to be some history there that, needs to be explained.
Good art here, man. John Romita Jr. is doing a good job. I like it.
I'm liking it.
Yeah, I like these were good scenes, man. I think it's been going good. Yeah, and then you got this whole thing with Robbie now. He's getting married to his daughter. Supposedly, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It doesn't look like it's a blessed wedding, let's say.
Yeah, but I do like all like the mobster type shit going on right now.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I like how they're connecting that whole thing with the rose and everything else. So
yeah, and a bit throwback, the relationship between Tombstone and Robbie Robertson.
Yeah,
because I remember reading that back in the day. I think when Tombstone was revealed, they had some sort of relationship. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, they grew up together essentially.
Yeah. Oh yeah, something like that. And now they kind of threw that back there, and I thought it was pretty good.
My first exposure to that storyline, amongst a bunch of other Spider-Man stuff, even though I did read them back in the day, was the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. They delved into that whole storyline. That cartoon was great, man. Like, I don't know if it holds up by today's standards for cartoons, but the storylines that they injected into that series, I learned so much about Spider-Man that rings true, like from storylines from the comics, due to that cartoon in the 90s. And I watched the old one too, the 60s one or whatever. I've watched that too on TV from back in the day. It's enjoyable.
Yeah, that's fun, but it has nothing to do with the comics. Like, that might have been one of the first ones that was, pulled from comic book storylines.
Yeah, like the comic, like the 90s one, like they pulled all kinds of stuff in it, like Smythe and the Sinister Six and Morbius and all that stuff. I learned for the first time from the cartoon, all those storylines. And then later I would go and read the comics and then learn like, oh, that's, and I would already
kind of flesh out the story a little bit.
Yeah. So what'd you think of this? What'd you give this issue then, Chris?
I want to give it a 4, but I still give it a 3.5. I think it's good though, and I liked it. And I'm looking forward to more of this Spider-Man.
I also give this one a 3.5. Yeah, but I agree with what you said there. I also think that I'm enjoying reading Spider-Man again now, like past the Beyond era. Like, keep this going. Like, it's interesting. Like,
yeah, and it's nice that like you say, they did kind of reference that Beyond era, so it is a continuation. Like, that stuff happened.
Yeah.
In the stuff that I've read, it's not like that just kind of went away and everybody forgot about it.
No, yeah, they're right. Yeah, for sure.
That means they did, Mary Jane and Peter did get together at the end there, and then something happened to separate, I don't know. We'll see what's happening.
We'll see. All right, very quickly though, in the news, there was a new article that just came out of them promoting the long-awaited and delayed Daredevil #1 relaunch, written by Chip Zdarsky and art by Marco Cicchetto, who is one of the regular series artists prior to Devil's Reign, and was the series artist for Devil's Reign as well. He was the guy who drew it all. So excited to see him continue on, because he's a great artist for this book. So I did want to read a little bit of this headline, though. It kind of confirmed some of me and Chris's ideas of what was going to happen in the series. This is July 13th, it comes out now. I think originally it was already supposed to be out by now, but July 13th is the new date this is coming out. Everything's kind of been pushed back. Taking place in the aftermath of Devil's Reign, Daredevil #1 will spotlight both Matt Murdock and Elektra Natchios and their vastly different journeys as Daredevil. And there's a cover here promoting it, which shows both of them on the cover. So that's cool. They're keeping her around, and they're actually gonna split the time up in the book apparently between both of these characters and seeing them on their own paths, I guess, being Daredevil. And the most interesting thing about this news report here is the fact that in this promotional thing that they show, Punisher is in the background with its weapons with the hand behind him, and they said that it's also going to be following the story of them basically up against the new Punisher-led hand. So that's this might be where
That's the good news, yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be where the good Punisher stuff is probably going to end up landing now as a result of the other series. We haven't really been, I'm still very on the fence with that other one, but this is interesting that he's going to show up in Daredevil with this, of course, because it's the hand, right? And Elektra's connection to them, and she's led them before. Like, so there's so much interesting stories that could be told.
Yeah, well, this Daredevil in the hand is good to begin with.
And
and now with the Punisher leading the hand, that just knocked it up, another couple levels.
And the Punisher has a long-standing history with Daredevil as well.
Yeah.
They're a street-level character. Yeah, so I think that's great. Like the fact that they're launching it with Elektra still as Daredevil, with the Punisher, and they also threw in the article something about Luke Cage, his whole mayor storyline, which I don't care about as much, but whatever.
They better not ruin the story with that there. Luke Cage comes out as the Peacemaker or something,
But it looks like they are basically using everybody from the Marvel Netflix shows. I mean, essentially, other than and Jessica Jones is married to Luke Cage. So you got everybody from the Defenders here, other than Iron Fist.
Who knows? Maybe.
I mean, he's going to probably go up at some point too, right? I mean, this could lead into even a new Defenders kind of series or something with these characters. But I mean, for right now, the status quo going into this relaunch, I'm very excited for this. I'm so glad they confirmed that they're doing Punisher stuff in this too now. Like, that's very cool, man. So that's why I wanted to mention it. And I hate that it's been taken so long, because Devil's Reign was like 3 months ago by the time this comes out. But I'm just like, all right, whatever. Well, we'll wait. So
this paper shortage or whatever it is, that's freaking killing me.
Yeah. So causing all kinds of problems. Don't they know we have a show to do here, Chris?
I was complaining when I was buying stocks of comics. Go, holy shit. Now I freaking went to my comic shop. I got 3 comics today. It's like, what the hell is this? I'm going to throw him in his face.
What is this?
You don't want my money? Freaking bring me comics here. I got stuff to read.
All right, guys. So, Chris, what are you picking up next week? Do you have your list there, or hopefully?
Yeah, well, there's not much there, it seems.
Yeah.
I got Fantastic Four 24, Iron Man 20, Spider-Gwen 3, and Jurassic League 2.
Yeah, I got a small list too, but I got a few more than you because I got some of the indie stuff, the Image stuff here. So I got Duo Powerbomb #1. That's the
I remember talking about that one. Yeah,
new wrestling Image comic. I'm really looking forward to that. Great artist, Daniel Warren Johnson. Got 8 billion. He's #2. Fantastic Four 44, Farmhand 18, Jurassic League #2. Red Room Trigger Warnings 4, maybe. I don't know. It's showing up on some solicits, some others it's not. And Seven Sons #1, which is another new Image series. So yeah, I got a good mix there. I might check out new Fantastic Four #1 digitally. I don't know, but it seems like enough there. But yeah, that's our list for next week, guys. You're gonna see some of these weeks, like I said, maybe a few books less than usual, just because of the fact that because of these shortages we're just speaking about. So yeah,
I just wanted to touch on a comic I talked about last week.
Yeah,
that I didn't get a chance to read. That Lady Death.
Yes.
By Coffin Comics. And I thought that was a great comic. If you can get over the cheesecakiness of the comic, because it seems in the whatever universe they live in, is all the female heroes, the less clothes they wear, the more stronger they seem to be. But it's sort of like a Spawn story, except not so complicated. I think in this 2-issue run, whatever, the devil made some sort of kind of an ultimate weapon there, it created a demon or something to wreak hell on Earth. And then when he was done, he banished him. And then now, I guess that demon got upset about that being banished. And now he's out to take over the world, I guess, to spite the demon. And I don't know, Lady Death and her minions are all there to fight him back. And I know it was a great story. It's not too complicated. It's fun, and it was great. Like the art in the issue is all the way through. It's really easy on the eyes, but it's followed up with a great story, not just not so much like the Dynamite ones where it's just a great cover, a so-so story, and kind of just it's all cover and the rest is just filler. So I thought it was great. And I'm gonna try and pick up I think it's like a 2-part arc in the story, or I'm not sure if it's a mini series, but I'm gonna try and find the second one for that.
Well, nice. No, I'm really glad to hear that. Actually, I might have to give it a try or see if I can check those out online, because that's why I was asking you to get back to us on that, because like I know that, like you said, aside from the cheesecakeness, I'm glad to hear that there actually is a decent story being told there. And not only that, it's a character that has been around a long time. So you know what I mean? Like I figured there had to be, she has her fans, that character, and I also felt like it had to be something about it other than
yeah, I can see why. Like she's a great character.
Yeah, because the cheesecakiness will only get you so far, especially like when you pick up a fucking banger of a cover from a Dynamite book where it looks real good, and it's a character that's sexy character or whatever, and you open it up and it's
it's fucking stick figures in there sometimes.
Shit art and a shit story, and you're like, what is this? Like something like it's like me, because at least if the art's on point, you're like, that'll keep it going to a certain degree. But like if
this reminds me of an early Image comic, where was like the Cyber Force of the Wetworks, where they really were, drawing the comics. The stories were almost secondary to them at that point.
They absolutely were. Art first, story second, because they weren't writers, right? They were just cool stuff.
So same thing here. All the characters are drawn like to the nines.
Yeah.
And there seemed to be a decent story. I forget what his name is, like Brian Papulo or something.
Polino,
yeah, he seems to be behind this. So I thought it was good.
Nice.
And also I want to talk about Venom 8, which I couldn't pick up this week. Supposed to be some big things going on in there, and I'm going to try and track that down in another local comic shop maybe over the weekend or something.
Apparently Avengers Forever was an awesome fucking issue last week, I heard. Like the one you apparently it's I listened to another comics podcast, which I won't mention because this is ours. I don't want to promote someone else's, but I listen to them usually at the end of the week after we do ours, right? Because I listened to it prior to we did our thing. Of course. And their pick of the week that they said was the favorite was Avengers Forever, and they described what happened in the issue. Sounded excellent, and I'm just like, oh man, that's the issue Christmas stuff. I'm just like,
well, the whole Avengers Forever series it's been like bonkers. They're just kind of doing crazy things with all these kind of well-known characters.
Yeah, so that's apparently was a real good issue. So, and they also talked about Captain Marvel. They said that was also real good. So, I'm killing you, man. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I'm just freaking trying. I can't even track these down anymore. Like,
I think those would have been issues that may have made your favorite of the week last week, though, is what I'm trying to say from what I've heard of them, right? Like the way
small chance I might be able to get my hands on the Avengers Forever, because they did have it on my pull list, and maybe they were out of copies, and they said they were getting some more in.
Yeah.
Maybe they're gonna just stick it in my pull bin, but I didn't go to that store this week, so
yeah.
I might pop by next week, because I might have some pre-orders coming in over there too. Because I think I did pre-order the Star Wars, the Tales of the Black Wookiee, whatever his name is, Dark Black Christensen.
Yeah, Black Christensen or something like that.
Yeah. And it was supposedly I bought that just for a cover, and I think it had like a photo cover, and I thought it was a new issue, but it seems to be just a reprint of some of his I guess his appearances, I think, in Dr. Aphria and some of the Star Wars ones.
Yeah, like a best of type deal. Yeah. All right.
So I wasn't in a rush to get that, but anyways.
I actually might be going to your old LCS this next week if I get a chance, just because I've never been down there just to do something.
No,
All right, so we'll see. I'll let you know.
You tell them where I go pick up my stuff.
All right, guys. We're at that point of the show, though, where we talk about our favorite book of the week. So I actually have no idea this week, so I need a minute just to look at these because I have no idea. I don't think anything ever came over. I ranked higher than a 4 this week, but it was a decent week. But let me see. I'm actually very surprised at myself here. I might actually go with Dark Crisis, guys. I might actually go with Dark Crisis. I'm very, very surprised. I think I just enjoyed this. And again, I think I went in with low expectations. As I mentioned, I definitely did. I definitely did. And maybe that's why it was a standout. But I like I said, I'm a sucker for them getting a team together. And I just thought this was way better than I was expecting. So I think,
I'm liking Deathstroke in this too. You know, like a lot of those scenes where you just see people in the bullseyes.
yeah,
And, you know, this is before they kind of reveal that Deathstroke was sort of doing stuff.
yeah,
I think he's going to be a badass in this.
yeah. Like
You know,
just,
and I thought that, I think, you know, the impressions I had before that it was going to be this dark army coming in. You know, it almost seems in the first pages there, they almost ripped the dark army off, like saying they're not coming anymore, which
right.
I imagine it's not going to happen. They're going to show up sooner or later, but at least it's not going to be them fighting the dark army, you know, and out of, you know, just right off the bat. Now they're just trying to take care of things on Earth because things seem to be going crazy.
Yeah, yeah, because all the villains, it's like a villain uprising because the main Justice League is dead. They think they can start,
Yeah, everybody thinks now there's time to strike.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm okay with that so far. Like it's so far so good, man. So there you go. I'm gonna give it the Dark Crisis this week, just because everything else was a little bit of more of the same, while
Yeah,
good. While this was hope for like an actual good event, at least at this point going in. So and it was, and it went. I had low expectations, and it's went over and above those. So I think I gave it the Dark Crisis week. Very surprised, as you can tell. All right.
yeah. I'm gonna give it to Thor.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking forward to this one. You know, I'm glad I made it on my pull list, and I'm glad I got it pulled. And I think the ending here is great. It's a good story.
Yeah.
Seeing everybody all gamma powered, and like I say, I'm really falling for this Odin and the hammer business.
Yeah, no, that's a great element. It is for sure, and I'm looking forward to the next thing now, where Venom is going to come into the.
Yeah. Oh, we lost you, Nico. Did I lose something? Oh, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
No, okay. I was just, well, I guess we're still here.
Yeah, hold on. I'll just have to restart that.
Okay, just give me 1 second. I'm just going to grab a beer. All right.
All right. So, what was I saying? What did you just say last? I think you were just talking about Thor, how that was good. Yeah, okay. So,
Yeah.
you talked about Odin. Yeah, that's a really interesting element, having Odin and the hammer there. I really enjoy that, and I'm looking forward to the conclusion as well of this series. So, and Venom's showing up in the next issue, so I'm interested to see what he does with that, because Donny Cates' run on Venom was really great. So I'm interested in see what he has to say there, and I guess that's going to be Eddie Brock too, right? Like, is that going to be?
Yeah, it should be Eddie Brock. Like, I imagine so. If it's Dylan Brock, it's going to be a freaking bit of a bust, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
Better
see.
not be putting a swerve on us there yet. Venom and Thor. Oh, hey, it's me, Dylan. What's going on? Get out of here, punk.
That's the only thing that makes me like not love some of these younger versions of these heroes, is because they're young, is that so unsure of themselves they are. And like, and I get there's be a certain aspect of that to those characters, but if you're gonna make it their full identity and sell us on it for that very reason, that's not very interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if that's their whole, and again, I don't read Venom regularly, but the little sampling I did of him in that series, at least the way that the writer who took over after Donny Cates was writing him, I think it was Ram V and somebody else. Al Ewing. I got that impression from that. And then I read the fucking Superman of Kal-El, and that's how I felt about that book, right? So, like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like if they're coming out parties for these characters, you know, once they power them up at the end of the whatever arc, they got to stay like all powerful, or, you know, at least back up to the level, not kind of always reverting back to the kid or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's hard to do when you got the real Venom still running around
Yeah,
that everybody likes. You know?
exactly. There's nothing wrong with these characters. Yes, yet they're pushing them to the side for these subpar
Yeah.
moments, right? So that's what I mean. Like, I'm not against new versions of these characters or everything else, anything else like that. In that sense, I just feel that it's hard to just push them to the forefront without pre-establishing like long histories.
Yeah, without any sort of demand for them to be pushed to the forefront. You know, everybody wants to see the regular Venom.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to see, he just had some some kicker stories, some kick-ass storylines come through. You want to see more of that, and they go, okay, we're gonna bring this kid up here. That doesn't even want to be Venom.
Yeah.
But
we'll see how it pans out. Anyways, folks,
cool.
we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in as always. Thank you to Chris as always. It was a great conversation as always, and we'll see you guys next time. Later.
All right, cheers.